The city's biennial arts festival is on the way, with a range of national and international acts on the bill. Director Nicholas McBryde rejoined the team in 2013 after some time away, and he's with us now to talk about how far the festival has come and what's next. Good evening.
Hi.
How long has the festival been running now?
Well, we set it up in 1999, first festival in the year 2000, so that's 9. This is festival number 9, that's 18 years.
And you've been involved the whole way through?
Apart from one festival, the 2012 festival, I didn't do because I had thought it was time for somebody else to have a turn. Resigned, and 18 months later I was asked to come back and carry on, so there we go. Apart from one, I've done them all, yeah.
What have been some of the highlights?
Well, I guess it's difficult because that's a lot of festivals, that's a lot of gigs when we have up to 200 performers for every festival. I guess one of the sort of the ongoing highlight is one, that we're still here, and two, just the sense of joy that that you see night after night as crowds come out of extraordinary performances that they have been to, which they would otherwise not have gotten if the festival hadn't been here.
Now, bringing acts to the city is obviously a costly experience. How much funding do you receive?
It's very expensive for all kinds of reasons. We're at the bottom of the world. We're at the bottom of New Zealand and we're at the bottom of the world, so it's very, very expensive to get people from anywhere to Dunedin for 3 or 4 days or a week or whatever it might be. Our funding comes from a variety of sources: the Dunedin City Council, the Community Trust of Otago, the Otago Community Trust, and from Creative New Zealand. There are 3 core funders, and then the rest we gleaned through business partnerships and box office. And the festival itself is roughly costs $1 million to stage. Wow! So it's quite a nervous machine to run.
What types of expenses, when you say $1 million to stage, what types of expenses?
Well, simplistically, we've got airfares, for example. We would have 200 performers coming to Dunedin. Now, some of them can come from as close as Auckland. A return airfare to Auckland, if you've got 25 performers, $600 return maybe. If you're lucky, it might be down to $400 return, maybe. From the UK, return airfares for troops and things, that is huge. Accommodation for all these people for at $120, $30, $40, $50 a night for 200 performers. It adds up. Performance fees are very considerable, not to mention the huge technical costs for venue hire, sound and lighting, and so on. It just adds up. I mean, if you've got 35 gigs in the festival, which I think we have this time, each one costing $45,000, $50,000, there's $1 million just gone. Advertising, promotions, all those sort of things, it's very expensive, but you've got to do that to make it work.
How well do Dunedin people support these events?
We're still here, so they do support. It's never easy, and one must never think that you've got it right, because you're bound to just fall over at that very moment. So you've got to be very, very smart all the time. The world is fickle. The performing arts is very fickle. If we knew what the recipe was, we'd all be very happy. But markets change, tastes change all the time, and we're providing a whole range of exciting performance experiences, from theatre, dance, music, the lot. So you never know what's going to be successful and what's going to tickle people's fancy. So you've got to be very, very vigilant and very careful all the time.
How do you pick who's going to come and perform?
Well, that's a tricky game, because I start off with an empty canvas at some stage, and you just start, and people are asking to join the festival, to be considered for the festival 2 and 3, 4 years in advance. Wow. And it can take that long to actually get something to work. We've got 10 days only every 2 years. I've got the whole world to choose from, but some of those people are only available at a certain time, so I mightn't be able to fit them in this time, but in 2 years' time they might fit in. So you're always juggling, selecting things. Some things might look nice now, and in 2 years' time or 4 years' time, when you actually get it to happen, the fashions have changed, the trends have changed, so you don't want them anymore, so you're juggling all the time. And there's a point, probably 10 months before the festival starts, where you've got all these gigs and you haven't confirmed any of them, because you've got to make sure that it makes sense structurally and curatorially before you lock them all down. So it's a scary kind of process, and you've got to make judgment calls about each of the disciplines and whether this is going to work against that, and that's going to, if there's got too much of this and not enough of something else. So it's quite, but it's all subjective, and it's all based on taste, and you can't do that by committee. That's why you have me as a director, and if I do it wrong, then you can get rid of me.
Are you sleeping okay at night?
It's
a lot to take on.
I've learned over the years to sleep overnight, because it's not really very funny at all, because sleepless nights are a part of this game, and it can be very painful as you stress about the minutiae, right down to where the front of house person is going to come from. We have over 200 volunteers who actually work on the festival, who just look after front of house or our guests and so on. So, and the sleepless nights come with the dollar signs, whether sales are tracking according to plan, or if somebody's going to fall over, and just dealing with artists. Fortunately, the festival has been very lucky over the last nearly 2 decades. We've never had any. I've managed to select artists who are well-rounded, well-adjusted, and mostly wonderful people.
Excellent. Tell us about 1 or 2 of the big draw cards for this year's festival.
Well, this time, because we're in the school holidays, that's a deliberate strategic move. So we've got a lot of children's and family entertainment this time round. We've got a lovely little huge gig in the Regent Theatre called The Complete History of the Royal New Zealand Navy, which is a creation which is just starting tomorrow, I think, in the North Island, written by Greg Cooper and Mark Hadlow, and that's just going to be a riotous, accessible, lovely piece of theatre. We've got a rather raunchy cabaret theatre show called Songs for the Fallen down at the Mayfair Theatre, which is the life of a French courtesan called Marie de Plessis, who rose to the great heights by sleeping around, basically, in 1900s France, on whom the opera La Traviata is also based. We've got an extraordinary play called The Devil's Half Acre, which is a play by a New Zealand theatre company who's playing at the moment in Edinburgh about the Devil's Half Acre was a part of Dunedin around McLagan Street in the 1860s, which is opium dens and prostitutes and brothels, and where people's fortunes were made and lost, and there was gambling and crime, and things have changed.
They have.
Maybe they haven't, I don't know. And we've also got this extraordinary thing which we're bringing in from the UK. It's called The Cube, which is a virtual reality experience where one audience member at a time goes into a shipping container, a little box, and they put on the Oculus, which is a gaming console stuff. So it's 360 degrees experience where you have this extraordinary story. It's a true story about a group of high school students in the 1950s in America who went into the desert to do a science experiment and vanished. Ooh. And they're still missing. That's playing on the Museum Reserve from 11 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, one at a time for 12 minutes. And then at night time we've got a play in the hut of the same story. Gosh,
jam-packed, and that sounds absolutely fascinating. Well, all the best for the festival run dates. Director Nicholas McBryde, lovely to talk to you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Rebecca.